Hey guys, this is Issues with Tiny One Skip. I am. You're not. How you doing? What's going on, guys? Guys, I figured I would dip my toe back into the Scientology world because, well, a few of you have asked me what's going on. Well, I'm going to tell you what I know. I'm going to tell you all I know. What I know is that, as expected, Aaron and Jenna are kaput. It's over. I can only hope that Lindsay is over it as well, but I don't know. Last we heard, Lindsay had gotten herself into some trouble. Hopefully she's gotten herself out of trouble and she's on the right path. I probably will never work with Lindsay again because the way she attacked me, that's just dope fiend behavior. Whether you're on drugs or you're not on drugs, you just don't treat people like that, especially people that were there to help and people that you reached out to and I was there for. So I'm done with that. I will tell you this, though. I honestly hope that she goes forward and does better things with her life because I do wish that for her. I hope that Aaron is not taking advantage of a vulnerable situation, but Aaron's famous for that. Sorry, Aaron. I know, but I see it, and I'm just calling it as it is. Nora's making a lot of noise. Oh, no, Nora! Making huge amounts of noise. And, I have a problem with Nora because she's so condescending and she has the Lewis Repetto thing is peeking its head up again. And Nora is talking about it, but Nora has forgotten that she was on a panel and she was making fun of people, victims that had gotten pictures of Lewis's junk and became very offended by it. And I remember her mocking because somebody got a picture of a dick. Well, it's a big deal when somebody's not expecting the picture. So, but now she's called something different. She's spun her web again. And you know what? Nora, I don't find her likable. I find her so arrogant. And I find her so, is she helping? Who's she helping? She makes these proclamations as if that's it. And then that's what Aaron does. And she calls Aaron out on it. Neither one of them need to be doing it. She takes credit for Lewis Repetto not being on the internet because she told him, man, get off the internet. How about taking the responsibility for telling the people, yo, man, stay away from them. Yo, man. See, everybody wants to throw the fact of who Lewis Repetto was on everybody else. Aaron, who knew Louis because they were in the Sea Org, Aaron was his senior. Lewis's behavior, like Gypsy Rose's behavior when it comes to sex, didn't come about yesterday. It's been going on. It's been going on for years. It just didn't come out of nowhere. It's happened. It's been going on for years. That is what Nora's claim. Nora is saying he had to know because they were really close and Aaron was Louis' senior in the Sea Org. But she doesn't want to be held accountable for everything that she should have known in the position she was in Scientology. And again, Mike Rinder, according to Aaron, should have been held accountable for everybody that Mike Rinder was in contact with. But Aaron shouldn't be held accountable for Louis Repetto back in the day. You see how what is good for one and what they call one out on, the other one isn't called out on. Like they find grace for themselves. They find reason for themselves. They find excuses for themselves. But when it comes to the other person, there is none of that. There is none of that. These people just want to be cult leaders. They want a following. They don't want any gray areas. Nora can scream and Aaron can scream all they want about how they could disagree in a healthy way, and that's okay. No, that's not true. That's not true at all. There's hostility when there's a disagreement, and it's very, very black and white. You know, I saw Aaron put out a video about how Nora can't make it on YouTube. And I said to myself, well, Nora is making it on YouTube. To what standard are we talking about? Like, she's making it on YouTube. Is she making it as well as you? Well, I don't know. There's a question about how many real subscribers you have, Aaron. So I don't know. What was the point of that? Guys, here's some stuff that I want to share with you that Nora has to say. And yeah, listen up.
Don't understand, okay? Because I don't think about Lewis Repetto. I don't give a fuck, okay? Because he's gone, and I'm gonna get to that.
Oh, guys, I think that she's wearing 8 pounds, excuse me, on her back, and as she's doing her exercise. I don't know why we even have to see her body. We could just see from here up, but she wants to show everybody what's going on. And she's out of breath fairly easy too, but good for her for the working out. I mean that sincerely. I mean that sincerely.
So then he starts making his own videos, keeps asking me to be on. I'm like, oh, I have to poop, you know, like just avoiding it like the Black Plague. And I think we ended up on another panel together somehow, same kind of situation, where I was like, you didn't tell me Louis was going to be here, but I guess I'm here now, so I'm going to be professional. Right? Anyway, so then I start getting DMs from people who are telling me that Louis has been sending them, you know, eggplant pics, unsolicited. And I'm like, what do you tell me more? What exactly happened? So I'm getting details about these conversations, and would you be sending? I did never. Somebody offered to send me the pics they got. I said no, thank you, no, thank you. Years ago. So I never saw any of the pics. I want to make that abundantly clear. So I said, okay, this all sounds pretty wild. And other people are starting to come up with these very serious allegations, right? And then the last live he was on somebody else's channel. And then the live got taken down. He was taken into custody, right? And so then we all kind of got confused from there. So after all these people are contacting me, okay, I said, I'm going to contact Louis. I texted him directly from my phone to his phone. I said, Louis, we need to talk. I'm gonna call you. So I called him. I said, listen, I don't want to beat around the bush about this. I want to just get direct answers from you, okay? And I want you to be truthful with it. And he was like, okay, sure. I said, are you sending dick pics to people? And he said, yes. Yes, I did. And I'm like, what? Like, I have to get water. I'm like, why would you be sending those? So he tells me a story. He says, listen, years ago, when I first left, you know, we had grown up in a very kind of puritanical thing, and I didn't know the rules. So I used to, and these are his words, not mine, I used to send, you know, just my penis to everybody because, you know, that seemed appropriate. So it was kind of, I was like, you're like the Oprah of penis pics. And he's like, kind of. I mean, I said, how many do you think you've sent out? He's like, oh, thousands. But he's like, I realized that I was doing that without consent. So now I don't ever send any pictures of any kind without consent. And I said, okay, but why? He goes, listen, I have sent so many dick pics out that other people use my penis. I mean, not to brag, this is him again. Not to brag, but it's pretty spectacular. You know, as pictures of their own penis. And I'm like, what does that mean? He goes, well, one time I was in this, you know, poly group, you know, channel, like Reddit kind of thing. And we all decided we're going to send in our penis, right? And before he could send in his dick pic, somebody sent in a dick pic he had taken in the past. That's how much out there his dick is. And I was like, what? I said, okay, that sounds pretty bad. Are you? He goes, but yeah, I mean, you know, that's like the tame stuff. I said, what do you mean? Tell me more. What do you mean about that? And he said, well, you know, I have I have profiles on many different sites on, you know, pan sites, poly sites. I do this site for gay stuff. I do this site for the straight stuff. And I'm like, gay stuff, straight stuff? Oh yeah, like I make sex films. I record myself having sex. Gay, straight, poly, all the things. On these different sites, these fetish sites I'd never heard of. Okay.
So guys, I want you to understand that Nora's way of handling this horrible crime, because it is a crime, was to tell Lewis Repetto to go away. That was it. Delete everything, go away. What about the victims of the crime? What about the people that were triggered by him? What about that, Nora? You didn't do anything except take claim for something else. We're going to get into this more, guys. I just wanted to tell you what I think's going on. I have a lot more videos to go through because there's a tit for tat going on about, I guess, who's the better person when it comes to Nora and Aaron. Clearly, neither, guys. This is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip. Be better today than you were yesterday. Not half as good as you'll be tomorrow. And if somebody's committing a crime, maybe you should do more than just tell them to go run for the hills and protect themselves, huh? Yeah, probably. Huh, Nora?
There's only two types of people in Scientology that we should ever be talking about. You ready? The criminals and the not criminals.
And which one are you, Nora? Which one are you? We're going to find out.